Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back. Today we're going to be doing an eye look that you can realistically wear everywhere, but it's targeted, I feel like, a bit more for like formal events and going out and things of that sort. I'm going to be showing you guys how to get a very dramatic cut crease. I do this a lot to kind of amp up my eye looks, like this technique, but I realized that I never really showed you guys how I like in-depth accomplish it. So that's what we're going to do today. If you have always wanted to do a cut crease and you don't know how, this is your lucky day because I'm going to show you how to do it. So if that is something you're interested in seeing, let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so I did prime my eyes already. I used my MAC Painterly Paint Pot like I normally do. The palette that we're going to use today is the Surge palette. I had a hard time picking this one or my Carnival XL Pro palette. Both are really great options for like color stories and formula and things of that sort. When I think of cut creases, those are the two palettes that I think of. But you can also use like the NYX Ultimate Utopia. That's a great option. It's more inexpensive than these two are. But I want to do kind of a dramatic cut crease. Like I want there to be a strong contrast, so I feel like those two have a lot of options. So I think I'm gonna use the blues right here, and I think I'm gonna use this for like the actual cut crease. That is the color story that I have in my head, and I'm pretty sure that's what I want to stick to. I'm gonna start out with Rush right here, like a nice muted blue shade, and I'm gonna take that on my Morphe M506. I need to get more of these brushes because they're so good. And I'm gonna take this out here in the outer half of the eye and up in the crease. So what we're focusing on right now is just kind of building up the outer regions of the cut crease look. Basically just everything that goes on besides the actual cut crease. And I'm bringing this pretty far in, but not all the way in, because I want to keep it quite light in there. This is going to be like our median shade. We're gonna have one that's lighter and then one that's darker. But we're just gonna work it up and make sure that the opacity is the same all the way through. This shade is really gonna set the template for how, like, the shape you want it to have. I prefer mine to be a lot more cat eye than normal. So that's what I'm doing with this shadow, is kind of setting the shape up. I'm not worrying too much about this outer corner because I am gonna go in and clean it up just like I normally do. This I find to be the perfect brush for work like this and this shade specifically in the eye look, because it's fluffy but it's very concentrated, so you're going to have a lot more control in where you place the shadow, but you're going to be able to blend it out quite a bit. The next brush that you're going to want to use for this eye look is a bit more of a fluffier one. I have two options right here. One is a Sigma E25, fantastic brush that I use all the time. A dupe for that is the Morphe M433. It's like almost exactly the same. I'm going to go in with the Morphe one I think today because it's just what I'm feeling. And I'm going to take this chill shade on that brush, on that Morphe M433, which is the lightest shade that we're going to use for this eye look besides the cut crease, and I'm gonna go up here with it. We're adding this lighter shade to give it a bit more dimension, and I'm going like right on top of that blue shade, and this one will go in a little bit further with, since it is the lightest shade that we're going to be using. So you see the difference between the two? One dimensional, this has much more dimension to it. I think the hardest part about a cut crease is just making sure that everything is equal on both sides. That's what I struggle with the most. And it's hard because no one's face is completely symmetrical. Trying to make it look symmetrical on the eyes is 10 times harder when your face actually isn't. So don't get discouraged. I'm gonna go in with a bit more Rush, which was that first shade we used, and just pull it out a little bit more with circular motions on this M433 brush. I mean M506. I'm gonna bring it in a little bit further. I'm gonna start working it in. The lid part, like this part, is important because it's going to be what's being blended into the cut crease when you lay it down. So you want to make sure that it is pretty established. So just work in phases, be very light-handed. You can always add more shadow, but you can't take shadow away. The last shade that we're going to use on the outer perimeter of this cut crease look is this Linger color right here. It's a nice deep dark blue, and we're going to focus this only in the outer corner. Since this is the darkest shade, you want to be very careful when you work with it. I'm going to take a pencil brush. My favorite is this Morphe M431, and we're going to be very specific in where we place this. And we're going to start at the lash line right here. That's always your safest bet, is to start at the lash line and then pull it out. This isn't going to go higher than that first Rush shade that we used, but we are going to use it to kind of help create the shape for our eyeshadow. Now I'm using blues today, but you can do this with any shades that you want. Whatever color story you're planning on doing, you can do these same exact steps with. Don't forget to open your eyes so that you know what it actually looks like when your eyes open the eye look. Especially if you have hooded eyes like me, you always want to make sure that you're keeping your eyes open when you do your shadow. It'll look a lot different if you keep your eyes closed. Then I'm going to take a bit of the Chills color that we just used and just blend out. Now, once your exterior shades are all blended out to your satisfaction, we're gonna go in and cut the crease. I'm gonna be using the P. Louise base in the shade Rumor 01, but you do not have to use this. You can use whatever concealer that you have on hand. You can use a tinted primer. You can use truly whatever you have. I used to use concealer all the time, but I switched to this. Now, the brush that you wanna use for this is gonna be a little bit subjective. I will say that you want to make sure that it is flat and pretty sharp, because that's going to help you out. But if you want it to be like a bit longer than this or a bit wider than this, that's going to be totally your call. This is the one that I'm going to be using. It's the Morphe Ariel A18 brush. I like this one because it's a bit shorter, so I feel like I have more control. I'm gonna really coat my brush with this. I find that that's the best way for me to do a cut crease, is to like coat my brush rather than just have like a little bit on. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna stamp out the outline that I want for this cut crease with this brush first. I'm gonna keep my eye open so that I know it's not too low or too high. When I drag my P. Louise or like my concealer and whatever I'm using to cut the crease, I feel like it picks up a lot of the shadow, like the pigment from the shadow that's already down. So I really like to just stamp and then I'll go over it with more. Once I feel like I have the shape, I'll go in, starting from the inner corner, and just pull. And I'll add more so that I don't, again, pick up any pigment from the shadow that's already down. And I'll bring it like halfway in. Then what I'll do while it's still kind of wet and sticky is I'm going to take my Morphe M506 with whatever is left over on the brush, and I'll blend it into the P. Louise, starting at my lash line. I really want to like erase that line right there that kind of tells me where my P. Louise stopped. So I'm really working to blend it out. Now, you don't want to overblend. You don't want to ruin the cut crease that you just put down, so be very small with the strokes that you make. You still want to make sure that you have that cut crease there and bare for the shadow that we're going to put down. I'm going to leave it like this. I'm only going to work one eye at a time. Since the P. Louise is sticky, I feel better doing it that way. The brush that I'm going to take is pretty sharp again for the shade that I'm going to use to put on top of the P. Louise. This is a Morphe 167. It's a bit bigger than I normally go for, but I feel like the edges of this are really going to help put down the shadow exactly the way that I want it to be put down. So I'm first going to make sure that I have no creases. If I do, I'll just blend them out with my finger. The shade that I'm going to use for the cut crease is this Flash shade right here. I normally do matte cut creases, but I was feeling a shimmer for this one. I feel like it'll make it all the more dramatic. And then once I blend everything out, I'll go in with the shadow. And you're just gonna pat. You wanna make sure not to go past where you put the cut crease down. This is a gorgeous shimmer shade. I'm gonna blend it out right here again. That is so freaking pretty. That is so pretty. I did go in and clean up the outer edges of my eye look, and then I added some liner and mascara. For liner, I used the Profusion Wing It On Super Fine Eyeliner. Very good eyeliner, one of my favorites. To tightline, I used the Makeup Forever Artist Color Pencil in whatever black. And the mascara I used was the Ilia Limitless Lash Mascara. None of these are new. I use these all the time. I just wanted to mention them in case you are new to my channel. That's normally what I do. I didn't do any specific kind of wing. I just kind of lined the upper eyelid. I find that it helps when I go to add lashes. Speaking of lashes, I just want to tell you what my preference is for lashes. If you're gonna do lashes, what I would use if I did an eye look like this and I was going out. I think that a cat eye would be the best, since the cut crease is the star of the show for this eye look. You want to make sure that it's being able to be seen. So I feel like ones that are really tapered off help with the eye look. It helps to, one, lift the eye, but two, it leaves enough room in the inner corner to be able to see the actual cut crease. These are the Lily Lash and Sephora collection in Beverly Drive. These have been my go-to recently. Molten Lashes is a great option. They're like $5 lashes and they're really high quality, but I have run out. So this is what I have been using. These are really, really good and they're reusable, which I love. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the rest of my makeup now. I'll come back and we can do lips together, but I'm gonna go ahead and do the rest of my base. So I'll see you guys in just a second. Okay, I know my concealer is too light. I know that it is. I can't fix it right now, so we're just gonna pretend that it didn't happen. I tried out a new concealer. Well, not new, but I tried out a new shade of a concealer that I love and it's way too light. We're gonna go ahead and do the lower lash line really quick before I forget. I'm gonna take this flat brush right here that I always use and I'm gonna pick up this Linger shade, pop it right under here. Only going like halfway in. Then I'll take a little fluffy brush like this one right here. It's a Morphe M562 and I'll take Chills and just blend it out. Take some Ilia mascara again for the lower lashes, you know the drill. Now for lips, I'm going to do a very basic nude lip that I have done many, many times. I'm first going to take the Wherever Walnut Artist Color Pencil. Then I'll go in with the actual lipstick, which is MAC Honey Love. And then of course I'll use my Artist Color Pencil in Endless Cacao on the Cupid's bow in the center of the lip, just to give myself a nice little lip flip. And then this is the final lip that we are left with. I'm going to go in and do my last step, which is just to bring back my little birthmark right here. And this is the final look, you guys. I love the way that this came out. I'm in love with this eye. What I love about this eye look is that you can really interchange it with any eyeshadows that you want, whatever color story you want to do. Cut crease eye looks I feel like are they sound very intimidating, but when it comes down to it, they're really not that hard if you have like the right tools and the right techniques. So I hope that this video helped encourage you to try out more cut crease eye looks. They're so simple and they end up looking so stunning on no matter who you're doing it on, whether it be yourself or someone else. And practice makes perfect. So if you really want to accomplish a cut crease, watch this video and try doing it like every day for a week. And I promise you by day 7, you're going to be like an absolute pro at it. So if you did enjoy this little tutorial, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. Make sure if you have not already that you are subscribed to my channel and that you hit the little bell so that you are always notified when I upload a new video. Let me know what you think of the video down below, if it has inspired you to try out more cut crease eye looks, or if you think you might still stay away from a cut crease eye look. And I think that's it for today's video, you guys. I hope that you all enjoyed. I know that I did, and I will see you all in my next one. Bye.